Hello everyone. Thank you for your interest in Node University. My name is Azad Mardan. I am the founder of Node University. I am also an author of 14 books on JavaScript, Node.js, and react.js. This is my newest book, react.js. React quickly about react.js and the react.js stack. It took me 2 years to write it, not full-time but partially, and about work of 10 people, more or less, of editors, tech reviewers, proofreaders, and all kinds of other people such as designers. It's a really good book, but some of the materials in that book is not as relevant anymore. It's still relevant about 70 or 80%, but JavaScript moves so fast. This is why I wanted to have a faster way of pushing updates and pushing the recent content, and also getting your feedback and communicating with you, my readers, and with you people and engineers, software engineers who want to learn JavaScript. I remember when I just started to learn JavaScript, it was 2000. I shouldn't say JavaScript. I used JavaScript for pretty much all my career. I've been in software engineering for 15 years. And I've used JavaScript to some extent pretty much all the time. So I've used JavaScript from when there were no tools, when there were no debuggers, no dev tools. You would have to just put a lot of alert boxes to just try to understand why it's crashing. It was crashing all the time. The browsers would implement JavaScript very differently. Internet Explorer would always try to do something differently than ECMAScript. So I remember those days, and I didn't like it, to be honest. I kind of hated JavaScript back then, before 2011, 2012. And then Backbone came out. And like, wow, this is an MVC. This looks really neat. Why don't I try to use it, right? And I really liked it because you can organize your jQuery code, you have URL routing, you can make it responsive, you can create models, you can extend your models, you can extend your views. It was pretty nice. Backbone is still a good framework. And then I started to get into Node.js as well. I started to get myself into the server-side JavaScript, because with server-side JavaScript, you don't need Ruby or PHP or Java. You don't need any other of the backend technologies. So that immediately increased my productivity probably 10 times, maybe more. I remembered all the classes faster. I remembered all the libraries faster because they were the same libraries. Like I didn't need to open Ruby documentation anymore because I would use JavaScript on the browser and JavaScript on the server. And it was so enjoyable. It was so good to just not to have this to switch the content. Have you ever been coding? You've been like being productive and you would enjoy yourself, and then out of a sudden your phone would ring, or your boss would stop by, or your coworkers wanted to chat with you, or you would have some instant messenger pop up with a message or email notification, and you would forget what you were doing, and then it would take you 10, 15 minutes, maybe a couple hours to just get back into the state of flow, to even remember what the heck that class was supposed to do and how do I call the function. That's a bad situation. I had this happen to me many times, and one of the reasons was because I needed to Google something. I needed to remember exactly, or to find out exactly how that method would work, because I remembered using it, but I wasn't really sure. So I would go into Google, search, and find documentation or Stack Overflow, or try to remember experiment, and then I would need to go back into whatever I was doing, and that would slow me down. You have that switch of context. That would break your flow. That would make your coding not enjoyable at all. And with JavaScript and Node.js, it's easier to just remember methods such as .map, array.map, array.forEach. You would just remember it in a few weeks because you would use it all the time in both environments. And string methods, substr, substring, dot length. So all of those methods you just remember. Express methods and the backbone, if you're using backbone or React, you would remember it easier, so you would become productive. Yes, a lot of things you can Google it, but if you don't have to Google, you don't need to switch the context. So that will make you very, very productive. And that's what happened with me. I would be in my flow state, I would be enjoying, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's lunchtime. And then I would come back from lunch and I would go into the flow state, being really productive, and then boom, it's time to go home. So the time would just fly. I would enjoy myself. I would be super productive. So that's what drew me naturally to have this one language to rule everything. And let's be honest, there are a lot of things when you do web development, when you do modern software engineering, and especially on the web, you have to know HTML, you have to know CSS, JavaScript, then you need to be aware of how to construct an HTTP request, what are the header, body, footer, not the footer, but body, the header, and then also what is SSL, how HTTP works. You need to know a lot of those different things, also the RESTful API, the SOAP, and then now we have GraphQL. So if you can eliminate one technology, the backend technology, by just using JavaScript on the server, that's a major, major plus. And with MongoDB, you can even continue to use JavaScript on the database. SQL, relational databases, they use SQL. SQL is like a complex language in itself. So if you can just use JavaScript and a format which looks like JSON on the database, that's a huge plus as well. So that's why the stack of having JavaScript, you can use Angular or React on the front end, and then having Node.js, probably you would use Express framework, and then having MongoDB, the meme stack or the MERN stack if you're using React. This stack is super popular, and it's making developers more productive. You can ship code faster. It makes companies happier and more profitable because they can deliver their products faster. So I was lucky. I got into Node.js early and I joined the startup called Storify. So at Storify, what attracted me to that company, it was a small 10 people startup. Now it's part of Adobe through a series of acquisitions. But back in the day, Storify used everything, Node.js and JavaScript for everything. Unlike some companies, such as, especially big companies such as PayPal, eBay, Walmart, Uber, they use Node.js for just some parts. At Storify, we used it for everything. And that was pretty early in the days of Node.js. It was still controversial technology. People were just laughing at us, like, hey, JavaScript on the server, you can't be serious. But that basically taught me how to build very high performant and highly scalable production level application because we had a lot of traffic, but we didn't have that many resources. So you have to be inventive. And also some of the modules, they just didn't exist. So this is the good time for you to join this full stack JavaScript and learn Node.js, because now the tooling is better, the modules are better. They're more mature, the frameworks are more mature and better, they're more stable, less buggy. Yes, but my experience at Storify gave me a lot of good solid foundation and also experience from the trenches, from the building production applications. And then my next big project was a DocuSign, where we also did a large scale production application, 50 millions of users, 5 million paid users, and 50 million who are free users of DocuSign. So that's a lot of users, and also you need to make it very secure, and you need to make it very fast, because people don't like to wait to sign their documents. So we had this old legacy application built on C#, and it was a monolith. So it was very hard to make any updates. It was very hard to test it. A lot of manual testing has to be involved. The release cycle could take up to 2 months, which is it's a nonsense. It's not good. You need to be releasing once a day, ideally. or once a week at the worst, but not once in 2 months. So what we did, we re-engineered entire web application from scratch. We used node.js, Express, Backbone, and we used Redis for our caching, and then we used CoffeeScript as our language. So that showed me how, from the business side, how beneficial to have this full stack JavaScript, to have this JavaScript stack. And also, I just remember the sheer happiness and joy of developers who were switching from C# and coming to our project. And in 2 weeks, we would teach them everything about our stack. We had our own in-house small framework built on Backbone. It was isomorphic framework, so it was backend and front-end framework. And after 2 or 3 weeks, they would be so happy with this new stack. They would be productive. So you had this very, very easy learning curve, and you had this joyful state of basically you go into trance, you go into flow when you code with JavaScript. So that was really great. And yeah, I think back in that time, I published ProExpress, I finished Practical Node.js, which is this book. A lot of people like this book. On Amazon, it has over 100 of positive reviews. So I convinced my publisher, Apress. So I have two publishers. This is Apress and this is Manning. So I convinced Apress Media to open source the second edition. So now I'm writing this book on GitHub, so everyone can read the draft for free. We can collaborate. You can make suggestions. You can make edits if you wish to contribute, and then the publisher will take it from there and create the proper design, beautiful. As they always do, beautiful edited print version, because I know a lot of people, they like to read print. They like to hold the book and give a little bit of rest to their eyes from computers, because they've been staring at computers their whole day. They want to read like the actual paper book. So you have option to read it on GitHub, or to buy the print book when it's available, probably in 2018. So why I'm saying you all this? I'm just telling you my story so you can take a shortcut. I spent a lot of years, probably 5 years, building a lot of production applications, learning the best practices, and also teaching. I've taught probably about 50 workshops on React and Node.js at various companies such as Capital One, Walmart Labs, Starbucks, Macy's, Intuit, On Deck, HubSpot, and other big and small companies as well. And I know how to teach Node.js effectively. I'm not gonna spend hours and hours just on all those pauses and awkward silences and on some material which is not really needed to you. I will give you only the minimum necessary to get you started, because I value your time. The time is the most precious resource. So why would you take a course which is 50 hours when you can take a course which is 2 hours and 50 minutes, and the rest will be still relevant? If you take that long course, probably like 80% is irrelevant, because when you're building your own projects, things are different. You would pick different libraries. You're not gonna exactly pick the same libraries, and you would build your different business logic. You would run into different problems. So my goal is to give you a solid foundation, and then do it as fast as possible. I value your time. I'm making it very compact, very dense, very compressed. It's like drinking from a fire hose, but that's the benefit of the recorded videos. When I'm in a class teaching a workshop, that might take 2 days to teach the material. Here I can do it in 2 hours, because I've edited all the pauses, I've edited all the necessary things, and also I did this training so many times. I already know what to teach, what to just give you as a link in case you might need it, because most people don't need that extra material. So I'm not overwhelming with extra things. I'm giving you the clear path to make you start building your own applications as soon as possible. And also, like reading a book, like this is about 300 pages. This is 528 pages. Like it would probably take you like maybe a week if you like read 8 hours every day, right? To read it. It took me 2 years to write it, but you can read it maybe in like a week, or if you read it on weekends, maybe a couple of months. And that's good. That's good. If you like reading, you can looking at the code, skipping through the code. That's totally fine. Everyone has a different medium. So as part of the Node University, I have a library as well where I provide self-published books. So these books, they belong to the publisher, they own the rights, but the books that I do myself, I make them available and as part of the Node University library as well. So different people learn differently. So for some, reading is the preferred medium. For others, it's video. And video, let's be honest, it's less taxing. Video is more natural because reading, it's not natural. You have to learn it as a baby, right? And videos, it's like a real life. You don't really need to learn it. And then the spoken word is also very natural, especially if English is your first language. If English is not your first language, most of the courses, they have captions, they have transcriptions. And the best thing with video compared to live courses is that you can pause it. You can pause it, you can rewind it, you can watch it on 2x speed, double the speed. You can watch it on the slower speed. You can skip some of the lectures. So in the real class, you cannot really do that. You sitting in a room full of people, 20 people, or maybe 30 people, and one person there would always be one person who is a little bit behind, and that person would ask questions which you already know answers. So you start to get bored, you start to get distracted, playing with your phone, answering work emails, and then you have that context switch. So now you're not enjoying, you're not paying attention to your work or to the class, so it's not good. I would rather have you finish this online video course and maybe watch a particular lesson twice or three times because that's the topic which you're most interested, and then skip some of them or watch them on triple the speed, then spend a lot of money and a lot of time flying to my in-person face-to-face workshops, which by the way, I don't do them that often anymore. So I might do them like once a quarter, that's it. Then you have to buy a ticket, you have to buy a plane ticket, a hotel, and spend 2 or 3 days. So not very efficient. You might say, yeah, but in a class you could ask a question. Well, you can do that here too on Node University. If you're a premium member, you get access to a Slack channel. I check the Slack channel every 2 to 3 days, so you can directly chat with me. You can chat with other developers. Also, you can leave comments. So that benefit of direct communication is still there. So how Node University works? What are the benefits? Yes, there are a lot of courses on Udemy, on Udacity, on Pluralsight. The problem now with all those courses and YouTube videos and also free blog posts and some tutorials and even books, like I'm sure you can find this book on torrents for free, right? Of course, in a digital copy, not in the print book. So that's the reality. I'm just acknowledging. I'm not telling you go and steal it, right? But some people would still do that. So I'm just acknowledging the fact, and I'm okay with that as long as you learn that technology and use it, right? So for the benefit of you. But the problem, if you go that route, if you go the free route, you get what you pay for, right? So there are tons and tons of information which is free, but then how do you know which is up to date? How do you know which is a good trusted source, a person who's done the thing in production at a very large scale at big companies, and the person actually has the expertise. It's not just blah blah blah. The person doesn't know what the heck he or she is talking about, right? So you would have to do some research like, oh, is that a real person? Is that a person has real experience? Maybe look him up, maybe follow him a little bit on Twitter, on LinkedIn. So that's possible. I'm not discouraging you. Like if you in this situation where you have a lot of time, maybe you are a student and you have a lot of time because you skip those boring classes at your college, and you have a lot of time, you want to learn it, you don't have a job, yeah, go and do that. That's what I was doing 20 years ago. I was that student with a lot of time, and I didn't really like all the courses and classes. I didn't have a choice, just had to take, they were mandatory. But if you have a choice, definitely pick the courses which are related, such as Angular, React, or just quit your college if they don't have that, and do that self-study. Self-study is great, but if you're in a position where you have a family, where you have your full-time job, where you have other obligations, you want to also have time for yourself to just relax, for your family, then why on earth would you spend hours trying to save $20 on a book? I mean, that's just a bad math. If you spend like your weekend trying to sift through all that noise and all that crap and all that outdated information on blogs and social media, and also the blog posts, they would have like pop-ups, and they would have the ads, they would have like typos and stuff like that. No one will respond if you leave a comment there. YouTube videos, they have a lot of distraction. They have like cat videos, Donald Trump videos, they have like news, disasters, funny videos. So you in your weekend, probably you would be spending on actual coding just like 50% at best. Other time you would be distracted by all those ads and noise on social media, and all those crazy videos on YouTube. So why would you spend like that time being unproductive when it only costs you like $20 or maybe like $50, right? So this is, I think it's like 49. I don't even know the price. They just give me like 20 free copies. That's it. And so why would you not value your time? This is just a poor math, just logically. And also emotionally, you would be so drained after all those searches, after all those like trying to find the best stack, the best clear path. So I'm not selling you, right? I'm just trying to help you because your time is valuable. Time is the only resource which is not replenishable. So if you are a software engineer who already has a nice salary, especially in the US, $50, that's like 1 hour of your time, which you spend working, right? And why would you spend like your entire weekend trying to find a free resource or a free resources? Probably there would be 5 or 10 different resources. There wouldn't be one ultimate resource. So Udemy, yes, you can pick exactly the courses you like, but the quality is like crap. Honestly, I was publishing on Udemy. They have zero review. They would only tell you like, oh, you cannot post text on your cover image. That's what they would tell you. They would tell you, as an author, they would tell me like, your videos cannot be over 5 minutes. Well, okay, but if it's a topic which needs to take 6 minutes, why are you making me to cut it, right? So I left Udemy. Udemy also publishes very bad authors, very poor courses. They also have pirated courses where other people, they just steal your courses, and they make it like $10 and your course is $200. So the pirated course would sell. They have fake reviews. So it's just like a cesspool. It's like a swamp going to Udemy. But there are a few courses. If you know some authors, if you want to like focus on a particular area, you know that author. I know author on React. He does really good job on Udemy. Same thing with Pluralsight. The quality on Pluralsight is a little bit better because they have a really good review process. They have good editors. But again, it's like by the time it's published, it could be outdated. Also, the authors are different. Some authors might do all screencast, others they might do something different, right? So it's a completely different thing, right? So on Udemy, you just have to sift through a lot of noise, a lot of garbage. The Pluralsight, it has a better quality, but then how do you communicate? What is the community? How do you communicate with authors? They don't have that, right? And some of the courses on Pluralsight, they were really long, so they're not necessarily focused on one technology, right? They have like 2 or 3 Node.js courses, but that's it. So why would you not value your time, right? I want you to get the best value for your time, and that's what Node University is doing. We don't spend time on unnecessary things. We have everything organized. We have a clear, defined path. I'm teaching the best Node.js tech stack possible, the best combination, which all Node.js developers should know. And that's the main benefit. The other benefits, you get the community, you get the Slack channel, you get 12 months access if you subscribe to that, right, to that plan. And you can also subscribe to the lifetime as well. Learning never stops, right? So my vision is to always keep adding new courses. So it's important to learn, right? I said it's possible to just go to your library, get a book for free, right? But how relevant that information would be, how you would communicate with like-minded people. Coding alone is not fun. It's not productive. You need to collaborate to learn to learn things better. Then if you read a free blog post on the internet, how do you know that author has the expertise, right? A lot of people, they just don't understand. If you are not in the Silicon Valley, where I live, San Francisco, the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, then you don't even know about React. I went to teach a course on the East Coast, close to Philadelphia. Philadelphia, it's a huge city, right? It used to be a U.S. capital once a long time ago, but the people are still coding in Cold Fusion, right? So if you are Cold Fusion developer, if you're a PHP developer, if you are Java developer, if you are COBOL developer, then how do you even know like what to learn, right? And how do you know it's even possible to make $120,000 per year as the React developer? And that's like the minimum salary in San Francisco right now. So by knowing the current Node.js stack, you can first of all get more joy out of programming. Remember that flow state that will bring you more joy. You will be more productive. You can focus on building your own startup, building your own applications on the side, or you can find a new company to join with a better salary, or within your company, if your company is large like Capital One, we have always a lot of new projects going on. So you would be promoted, you would be moved to different projects once you have those skills with React, with the cloud, with Node.js, with Express. I call it full stack developer or generalist. This is where the industry is going. Gone are the days when you have a dedicated backend team, a dedicated IT people who would create those servers, dedicated front-end developers, dedicated testers. Now you need to do everything. You need to focus on one area, but also you need to know how to do everything else, because companies, they are cutting costs. It's very hard to hire people, smart people. There are a lot of job openings, but most of the job openings in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, they are for full stack developers. So go on hire.com, go on startuppers.com, go on Dice, go on monster.com. You would see full stack engineer, full stack engineer, full stack engineer. And most of the times it's JavaScript. Sometimes once in a while it's Java and JavaScript, but most of the times it's JavaScript. So if you are not joining this stack, this full stack JavaScript and the Node stack, then you're already behind. most likely you would be put just on maintenance, just doing bug fixes. If you're okay with that, if you're okay not progressing and just being on the maintenance and putting up the fires and bug fixes for the next 5-10 years, or maybe forever, well, I hate it. I hate bug fixes. I like the new development. Bug fixes, they bring you, they all, people are always complaining that something is broken. So I don't like the maintenance. I don't like that type of things. And that's what you would have to do if you don't switch to the new stack. React, Redux, GraphQL, those are the hottest technologies right now. The big companies switching to that stack, the small startups, they are already using that stack. So if you have the energy, the ambition, the desire to grow, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to learn. That's what you need to master. And Node.university will give you the clear path to do that. Hey, maybe you don't feel like you want to change. That's fine too. But remember, there's no thing such as there's no middle. There's no staying in one place. Like in that story, in order to stay, you need to run, right? In Alice in Wonderland. So for you, in order to stay, you still have to learn, right? If you want to change, you have to learn a lot, right? Node.university should be just part of your education. Conferences, going to conferences, listening to podcasts, subscribing to thought leaders on Twitter, on LinkedIn. They should be all newsletters, Node.js Weekly, Node Weekly, great newsletters. So, reading books, absolutely. So at least 10% of your time and money should be spent on education. So just to keep up with the current state of technology, everything moves so fast now. If you want to get a promotion, get a more rewarding career, then you need to double your speed. You need to spend 2 hours every day and 20 hours on the weekend to do those things. And it's just inefficient to try to save a few bucks, try to find a free resource or blog post somewhere, which might be outdated or full of ads. So there's no in between. There's no staying in between. If you want to stay in between, you have to run, right? If you want to just stay in your place. The moment you stop learning, the time will go fast. The time will go like this, super fast. You would not notice how 2, 3, 4, 5 years has been passed. That's a huge problem if you're working on some proprietary technology. I remember I worked at National Institutes of Health, and there is a proprietary framework which the programmers at NIH build on C and C++, and you have to learn their own special language to in order to code on that. Well, guess what? It's not open source, so no one else uses that. So the moment you start looking for another job, that's it. That's it. You cannot find it because your skill, the skill that you've been honing and you've been proud of, it's not needed to anyone except NIH. So especially for those people who are on proprietary frameworks and technologies, you in a big danger. And the time goes like this. The time goes super fast. You might not notice like, oh, 5 years has been passed. The technology moves so far away. You just blink and boom, a lot of things are irrelevant. A lot of things which you use day to day, they are irrelevant. So get yourself ready. There is no in between. You need to always learn. If you don't learn, you will be irrelevant super fast, super quickly. There are thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands people joining programming and web development and software engineering. I taught at Hack Reactor, and every month there would be 100 new people just in the San Francisco office, and there are a lot of boot camps like that, dev boot camps. So you are competing with huge number of developers. Or maybe you're one of those. Maybe you just finished Hack Reactor or dev bootcamp or Iron Hack, and you were taught some old technology like Java. That's what they still teach at universities. They teach Java and maybe a little bit of Angular, right? But what about Node.js? What about React? That's what the market demands, right? So self-education with good resources, that's what will stand you apart. There's a good book by Cal Newport. It's called Deep Work, and it's about our modern information age. We're living in the information revolution. So the basic idea is, if you want to have a great job, very fulfilling, with good benefits, with a good balance of challenges, but also some downtime when you can learn, when you can take some time off to be with your family or for your hobbies, right? There must be a good balance. Otherwise, it's too boring or it's too stressful. Maybe you want to work remotely. Maybe you want to travel the world, live on a beach in Thailand. So for those type of jobs, you need to have some skills that are very rare, that are very valuable. Why? Well, it's a basic supply and demand, right? If you have a lot of demand but very little supply of good jobs, that give you freedom, it gives you good money, it gives you maybe remote work or maybe prestige, whatever you want. So for those jobs, there are a lot of people who want to do that, but only the people who have those rare talent, they will get the job, right? So how do you develop that rare talent? How do you become an expert? So full stack JavaScript, it's a good place to be in because it's already mature enough, but it's not as mature as other technologies. So you can, and also it's developing really fast. So there are new libraries, new methods. So you can become a world-class expert in 2 or 3 years in the JavaScript world, in the full stack JavaScript world. And I have people who do that. Patrick.js is one example. I was teaching at Hack Reactor. He was a student there, and now he's one of the top world GitHub contributors. He is contributing to Angular. He's teaching classes. So he's a celebrity now. And I have 2 or 3 other examples like that. Just in a few years, they were able to skyrocket their career. Now they can live in any place they want. They can pick any companies they want to work for, but they do their own thing, which is even better for them. So tech industry is a great place to be. It's not without its problems. One of the problems is that you need to keep up with all the technologies, right? So this was my message to you. It doesn't matter if you sign up or not. Of course, I want you to sign up because I really believe in Node University. But even if you don't sign up, I have free courses as well. So go and check them out. But the best value you would get, especially for people who value their time and who want to get ahead, to get that dream job or their promotion, or maybe relocate or even work remotely, you need to have the skill set. And this is the most ultimate resource on the full stack JavaScript from the guy who published best books on Node.js, who wrote best books on Node.js, and did a lot of training, did a lot of courses. So thanks for being with me. I really appreciate your attention. Thanks for listening to me. And I see you inside of the videos. Click on the sign up button. It's gonna be an easy process. Once you're inside, you will see the onboarding. You would get an onboarding email as well. You would see the list of the tracks. You would pick your track. It's a well-defined track of what courses I recommend for what person. If you're front-end engineer, you would get the front-end stack. If you're back-end engineer, you would get the back-end stack. So I will explain where to start and where to continue. I will invite you to the Slack. You can ask more questions there, and you would have the online, you have offline as well. You can download on your iPad, on your computer, watch it on your train, on an airplane. You can get the source code, you can get the library, you can get the live webinars. Every time I'm doing a live event, you would also be invited to that live event. You get 30-day money back guarantee as well, so there is no risks. But go ahead and do it now. Okay, so don't postpone. Tomorrow never happens. It's important to take action now and make progress, build that momentum. Do it every week, do it consistently. Learn. And learning never stops. Okay, so that's it. So I'll see you on the Node University. I see you in the videos inside of the Node Universities. Now go ahead and click subscribe. Go ahead and enroll to get the unlimited access to all the courses, to get all the benefits, to get that premium membership plan, to become a premium member of Node University. Thank you and have a great time.